Good morning to everybody, and welcome to Abundant Living Wellness Center, where we take your health to a higher level. Today, I have with me Angela Masiwa, who has been with us for the past 10 days, and she has a very powerful testimony to share with us. And we have just requested, from her, if we can record this testimony for the sake of you, our listeners and our viewers at home, so that many others who may be experiencing similar challenges with their health may be helped. And so please take a seat, grab a cup of healthy herbal caffeine-free tea, sit back, and let's enjoy our time together. Hi Angela, how are you?
Dr. Sharon, I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. She gives me a title I do not deserve.
You do.
But yes, but thank you so much for allowing us and giving us this opportunity to actually share this testimony. Now, I know that it's been a very long journey, and so I'd like for you to just maybe briefly tell our audience who you are and just a brief background of where your sickness began and the path that you have traveled until now.
Okay. Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you for having me for the past 10 days.
Yes.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you for being with us, stay with us.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll try and cut the very long story very short.
It's all right.
Okay. So, what brought me to Abundant Living was a big challenge.
Yes.
I had a spinal injury due to an accident where I was hit by a taxi. We call it a taxi.
Yes, it's a taxi.
In South Africa. In Zimbabwe, we call it a combi.
Okay.
It's a minibus or a shared taxi.
Yes.
So this taxi was on a cat and mouse chase with the police.
Sure.
And then, I was unfortunate to be hit by
a victim.
Yes. And then it hit me on the left hip.
Okay.
No, on the right hip. And then I fell to the pavement, hitting the edge of the pavement with my left hip.
Sure.
So that dislocated my spine somehow. Yeah. And besides, I also had some degeneration taking place. Yeah. But I just wasn't aware of it. Yeah. So
and when was this? Which year was this?
This was in 2016.
Sure, it's been a long journey.
2016.
Sure.
Yeah. But when I went for x-rays, nothing was detected except for a whiplash injury on the neck, which was taken care of through physiotherapy, and then it disappeared for good. So in 2018, when I was playing basketball, it was social basketball for our it was an annual tournament. When I was still working in a formal job, and I played 2 matches of basketball, and then the following day, which was a Monday, I started feeling pain on my hip and my leg, and I thought it was because of
maybe you didn't.
Yes.
And this is what commonly happens with spinal injuries. You get hurt, they don't detect anything because they normally look via x-rays.
Yes.
And then a year, 2, sometimes 5 years later, you start experiencing severe pain. So you can't link it to the accident or to a spinal dislocation because of the accident.
That's very true. That's actually what happened. So when I realized that the pain was not going away, I decided to pass through a hospital on my way home from work. And I was actually detained for 10 days. So after the basketball games on Sunday, I started feeling or experiencing pain on the hip, and it went down my left leg, and I thought it was because of the basketball game that I played. By end of Monday, I decided to go to hospital on my way home from work, just to get checked. And then I was actually detained for 10 days for further investigations. They had realized that I needed to have MRI scan and establish where the pain was really coming from. So the MRI scan results revealed that I had degenerated discs, level 3, level 4, and level 5.
Sure.
So this was the lower
The
spine.
cervical spine.
Yes, yes. And over and above that, there was also a problem with my uterus, where they established that I had multiple fibroids in the uterus, and they said they were contributing to the pain as well.
Alright.
Yes. So
if anything can go wrong, it all just goes wrong at the same time.
yeah,
Yes.
so it was a cocktail of
Sure.
issues that were affecting
Your
my
spine.
back. Yeah. So I had the uterus removed like the following month. This was November 2018, and then I felt better. The hip and the back pain disappeared.
Subsided.
Yes,
Wow.
it completely disappeared.
Yes.
Yes, for from 2018, 19, 20, 21,
All was
I was
well.
okay.
Mhm.
Yes. Then February 2022, I started feeling
The hip pain again.
hip pain again. It was very bad, to the point that I just, like
You struggle to walk.
Yes, I struggled to walk. I struggled to sit. I struggled to stand. I couldn't do anything.
Anything.
Yes, this was on the 12th of February. Then I went to hospital on Valentine's Day.
Yes, yes.
And then that's when I was diagnosed with sciatica
Nerve.
yes,
Yes.
nerve pain or nerve compression. So the doctor suggested that surgery would resolve
help.
the pain,
Yes.
but I was not willing. I was not prepared psychologically, financially. I just thought it would go away like it did in 2018. But then carried on for the rest of 2022, 2023 into February 2024. In between, I tried other therapies.
Yes, yes.
The first therapy I tried was
Chiropractor.
therapy.
Yes.
Yes, and it helped for, I think, at least I was able to sit.
Okay.
Yes, for a few weeks. And then walking, I could walk, but I was still struggling. Yeah, but I had hope all the time that I was going to get better.
Yeah.
But then now, my medical insurance, it did not cover chiropractors.
Yes.
Yes. So I discontinued before I fully
Recovered.
I could not afford the sessions.
Also,
anymore.
chiropractors are quite expensive back in
Yes,
Zimbabwe.
yeah. And also looking at the fact that we have multi-currency.
Yes, yes. I remember you explaining the Zim dollar and the US dollar, and
Yes.
yeah, the complication
So the
between the two.
multi-currency situation didn't make it any easier. I would get paid in local currency, and then most of the medical services were charged
the
in
American.
United States dollars. Yeah. So I ended up not affording. Then I went to a rural hospital where I had the traction therapy, where they would hang some weights on your legs, yes, and then you lie on your back. And lying on my back was the worst position.
I remember.
Even imagine.
Yes.
I used to cry day and night, scream like a child.
So when would you do this? When you're at the hospital?
Yes.
And for how long would you have to lie in this position?
The prescription was for 2 weeks.
Sure.
Yes.
The whole night.
2 weeks straight. Yes.
On your back.
On my back with the weights hanging off my
And so you
legs.
only rise when you're eating.
No, I was bedridden. Everything
So you
I
were
would just-
fed by tubes and
No. I would feed from my bed, orally, but I would not even get up to go to use
So
the
then you-
toilet. Yes.
they put
I
a
used
catheter
to.
there.
No, I had a bedpan.
Oh,
I had
that
to
must
use a
have been
bedpan.
hard.
Yes, but psychologically, I couldn't take it. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
So I went for days
Yes.
without using the toilet
Yes.
because I just couldn't accept.
Yes, that I'm gonna have to do everything here. I eat here, I do it.
And yeah, my system just shut.
Shut down.
Yeah.
And that made you even more sick because if you're not eliminating, then you get congested, then the mind gets weaker.
Yes.
Sure.
So what then happened was I reacted to sulfur bandages that we
Lord, I
used
remember
to tie to what do you call it to mount
Okay, to mount those weights.
the traction kits. Yeah, to mount the traction. So I started feeling a burning sensation all over my legs. Yeah, and then when I mentioned this to the doctor, they realized that it was an allergic reaction to sulfur. So they had to
Remove
take off the
weights.
traction.
Yes.
Yes, and my skin had blisters all over my legs.
And
yeah.
now the treatment could not continue.
The treatment
And this
could
was
not
after how
continue.
many days?
After about 3-4 days.
Sure. And yes.
Yeah. So I discontinued the
Yes.
traction. And then I had heard about abundant living.
Yes.
I think I heard about abundant living in 2022.
Yes.
And I think I had a chat with you, and you were explaining to me what I needed to do, like to explain to you what I'm feeling,
Yes.
what I'm experiencing, so that you could prescribe a solution. And then I think the conversation ended there. I was telling my sister that I want to go there. I don't want to
Yes.
talk over the
The
phone.
phone,
So then I
yes.
discontinued the conversations. Then I only managed to visit Abundant Living.
It was last year.
Yes, in Durban in 2023 August. And
And
then
that was also tough.
it was.
Yes.
I was at my lowest. Yes, it was a week after I came to Durban, a week after my hospital discharge.
Yes.
When I had been admitted for the traction therapy. Yes, and the traveling was not easy.
Yes. I remember because at that time, the spine, you were bending over to alleviate the pain
Yes.
on the spine.
Yes, and I was using a Zimmer frame.
Yes.
I could not stand
You could
up,
not
but
sit
it's-
much, you couldn't stand much, you couldn't, everything was just painful.
Yes. So I when I left Harare, I used the bus, and I had to ask the drivers to allow me to just lie on the passage.
Yes.
To lie straight on the
Yes,
passage.
on the passage.
Yes.
On the floor.
Yes, on the floor, because I could not sit any longer.
Sure.
Yeah, I could no longer
Was the bus
sit.
full?
Not really.
That's good.
And then when you are
Because I'm just trying to
child,
imagine when people want to come out of their seats and now you have to stand and move and yes.
But God put me in very good hands.
Yes.
Because the crew was very kind and understanding, and they did everything for me
To make the
stamped
trip as
my
comfortable.
passport.
Yes.
They made sure I was comfortable, and then my sister picked me up in Koromane, where
Yes.
she lives, and then we
Traveled
drove
with
to
you.
Johannesburg, and then took a flight to Durban, and then another bus trip to Durban,
Yes.
to
Richards
Batu,
Bay.
yes.
Was it to Tuba? Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes.
to Richards Bay and then
Yes,
to Batu.
Tuba, yes.
And everyone was just nice to me.
Wow.
Yeah,
praise God for
everyone
that.
was just nice to me. And then when I got your first, the first alignment, I think you remember how much I screamed.
I remember. It was hard to lie on your
On my
back.
back.
And I think because of the pains you were experiencing, you know, as we were doing the treatments, I think your mind already was expecting excruciating pain, so it
Yes.
just made the whole process very hard. Yes, I remember.
And worse still, I had arthritis, if you remember.
Yes.
And then I reacted to the vegetation, the
Around,
flowers.
so you had an allergic reaction. I remember how every morning was an adventure for us when we were coming in to see how you were doing that morning. Yes.
So with the allergic reaction, I had this hard cough. So each time I coughed, my spine, my joints, because of the arthritis,
Would just
the hip joints, and the pain I used to experience in my legs, I would feel like the legs would explode, you know, with pain, and it was something else. But I was amazed to realize when I was traveling back to Johannesburg,
Yes.
on the plane,
Yes.
I managed to sit.
Yes.
Whenever I coughed, I no longer felt
Felt
the joint pain.
Yes.
The sitting that I was feeling today,
Even your
I could
posture
sit.
had improved by the time.
Yes, it had
Yes, you were
improved.
going back. Yes.
Exactly. And this was after 10 days of
Yes.
using your remedies. It was not even 10 days.
It was 9 days.
Yes, it was less because I was
Of the
struggling
discomfort with the bed
sleeping,
and the
you
floor
know,
and the
yeah,
breathing, and it was just a
exactly.
lot of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I had done the full treatment for the full 10 days,
Without the allergies.
yes,
and-
without the allergies, I'm sure I would have improved to a better level than, you know, but it made a great difference. And my sister and I kept saying, Sharon's treatment methods, tried and tested, and they work. Yes. So I knew I wanted to come back to abundant living again. And it's unfortunate that, no, before I go to the unfortunate part,
But
when I went back to Zimbabwe in October, in September, I managed to go to work every day, October, November, December.
wow.
Yes,
Wow.
but I could feel that
There's some
I was
deterioration,
training
yes.
myself, and I tried to negotiate with my employer to
Yeah,
allow
work
me
from
to work
home.
from home, because it's the traveling that was training me, and also sitting for long hours. But unfortunately, it was not suitable.
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't suit my employer for me to work from home. So because I needed the job, I kept on pushing.
Going.
Yes, and sometimes I would lie down under the table in the boardroom
Imagine.
and try to work from there, but still I strained myself. And then by January, I could no longer sustain
going to work,
yes,
sitting up.
I started struggling again. Yeah, and then my left
So meaning
leg,
that the spine had come out again.
yes, yeah, the spine had come out again, and then my left leg was slowly losing the sense of feeling
Sure.
because of the nerve compression. So by January, the left foot had completely lost sense of feeling.
Sure.
So even when I was walking, I would not really feel where I was stepping.
Stepping.
Yeah,
Yes. So it was numb.
it was numb.
Sure.
So one day on my way home from work, I missed a step. I stepped on a slanted ground, slanted ground, and then on sloppy ground. Sorry, I stepped on sloppy ground, and then I fell.
Twisted your ankle.
Yes, and I just fell
just
and hit the ground with my
With
left
a
hip
very
again.
hip that has
Yes.
a problem.
Yeah, and then my spine shifted, misaligned again. So at that point, I became bedridden completely. So one day, in my attempt to go to work, I met that same day that I fell.
The following day.
Yes, I had met my former schoolmate.
Yes.
Yes, I met my former schoolmate at our complex, and she was shocked to see me in the posture that I was in. And she asked
What's wrong?
what had happened to me, and I explained to her. And then I didn't know that she took a mental note that I was failing to afford fees for surgery. Yeah. So without me knowing, she started fundraising.
Imagine.
Yes,
Imagine.
for my surgery, and I needed 14,000 United States dollars.
I remember when we worked it out, it was 280,000 rands. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And that's just for the surgery.
just for the surgery. So she mobilized people and
Sure.
contributed. Long and short of it, the funds were available.
Wow.
Well wishers came through, and I actually had the surgery done by one of the highly sought spine specialists in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
And then at one of the currently top hospitals in Zimbabwe, and the most expensive.
Sure.
Yeah. But my well wisher said, you go and get the surgery
Get the best.
done at that hospital.
Yeah.
And then that doctor had been recommended to me by one colleague in 2022. And then also my GP had recommended the same doctor. So a few people that I trusted, whose opinion I trusted,
Yes.
had recommended that same doctor.
Yes.
So I went to him, and
I thought it was a hair. Okay, him, yes.
it was a him.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, it was a him. And he's not very easy to get hold of.
Yes.
I remember when I made a booking to see him the very first time, I had booked to see him in February 2022, just to get his opinion. And my appointment to see him was scheduled for 16th of July. Yes. So I had to wait for about 4 months.
Sure.
Yeah, February, March, April, May, June.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a very long time.
Yes.
Yes.
So I waited until I decided.
This is not
Yeah.
going to happen. And
Yeah.
all this time you're at home in bed.
Yeah,
Can't
didn't
do
pay.
much, yeah.
Yes. And then as I was waiting, that's when I did the chiropractic therapy.
Yes.
I did the traction
And
therapy.
with the chiropractic therapy, how did it? Oh, you mean the first time you wanted to see him?
Yes,
Oh,
the first time I
okay,
wanted
yes.
to see
All
him.
right.
So, and then
This
that's
time
when I
around.
came to Durban,
Yes.
and then I
right.
eventually just abandoned
Yes. The
seeing
whole
that doctor because the waiting was too long.
Mm.
But you know, when God wants things to happen,
happen. Yes.
that time when I called him, when people had started raising funds, I called, and then the receptionist said to me, "Are you in a lot of pain?" Then I said, "Yes, I am in a lot of pain. I can't even sit." Then he said, "So if you are in a lot of pain, I'll try and squeeze you somewhere."
Wow.
Yeah. And then
And it's not because she knows you or
he-
is doing
he
you
didn't
this
even
favor
know me.
because you gave her something. It was
Yeah.
the mercy of God.
yeah. So then he just said, "Can you come on Monday?" And this was on a Thursday.
Imagine.
And under normal circumstances, you wait for months.
4 months, and
But
this
then-
time it was just a few days.
Yes, because
Wow.
it was time for things to happen.
Yes.
And then I went in the Monday, and then he just said to me, "You need urgent surgery." And then I had the surgery done 4 days later.
Yes.
No, was it 4 days later? I saw him on a Monday. Then I had the surgery done a week later.
Imagine, that was
Yes.
so quick.
It was very quick. And funny enough, or interesting, something interesting, this doctor was known to one of my well-wishers.
Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
So immediately he knew my story,
Mm.
and then he kind of took it personal.
Yes.
And then some of my friends also know people in the medical field,
Yes.
and some of the donations came in the form of medical services,
Wow.
different medical services.
Wow.
And then I was just comfortable.
Wow.
I had the surgery done on the 12th of February.
Yes.
And remember, the first day I lay down
Mhm.
was on the 18th of, on the 12th of February,
Yes.
2022.
Oh, and
Yes.
now you had the surgery done on the
O-
12th.
on the 13th, sorry.
Okay, on the
It
13th.
was
yes.
done on the 13th of February
Imagine,
this year.
2024.
2024.
2 years later.
2 years later, when I had become completely bedridden,
Mm.
couldn't walk,
Mm.
couldn't sit, couldn't stand.
Mm.
And then 2 days after the surgery, I could sit in bed.
You could walk.
Yeah, I think on the third day when they took off the catheter,
Yes.
I could walk to the bathroom,
Wow.
and like I was like,
wow.
I don't feel anything anymore,
Wow.
you know. So that was the end of
The bending over.
The bending over.
Yes.
That was the end of it. Then after the surgery, I had to go for physiotherapy,
Mhm.
and then unfortunately, I think some of the exercises
Mhm.
that I was doing during the first round of physiotherapy,
Mhm.
I think they were too aggressive,
Mm.
and I must have misaligned my spine
Spine,
again.
yes.
Yeah. And then when I went back for review, the doctor recommended another physiotherapist who was a bit mature, and she is the physiotherapist who works hand in hand with this doctor,
All right.
and she's experienced in handling
Mm. People with
these
sciatica,
cases, yes. Especially those that will have gone through surgery. Yeah.
Mhm.
So her exercises
You're
helped
more
me.
gentle.
Yes. But I told myself that, you know what, for complete healing, I need, it was surgery, then physiotherapy,
Mhm.
and I think I need the back alignment again.
Yes.
Yeah, because I still could not stand on my own.
For a long time.
Yes, I couldn't even do a minute or 2 minutes.
Mm.
I just had to lean on something.
Mhm.
People didn't know this because I used to manage it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's when I decided to come back to abundant living for realignment.
Mhm.
And then I think you remember that after first session of alignment,
Yes.
I could stand.
Yes.
And I can still stand.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
And now I can say I'm on maybe 90%
Yes.
recovery.
Yes.
I now have my life back.
Yes.
Um,
And you even know what you need to do when you're back at home to actually
Yes.
help when it's feeling sore, the exercises that you need to do to actually help it
yes,
back in place.
exactly.
Yes.
The sleeping positions.
Yes.
Now I even know when I'm sleeping in a wrong position,
Mhm.
my body feels it and it sends signals. I feel like there's some electricity moving all over my body. I used to feel that a lot when I had the nerve compression.
Yes.
I used to feel that a lot. And sometimes it was also caused by diabetes.
Yes.
And in the end, I could tell them apart that this nerve sensation is due to high blood sugar.
Mhm.
And if ever I tested the blood sugar, it
It
would
would be
really
high.
be high. Then I could also tell that this nerve sensation is due to the spine. And when I sleep in the wrong position, I feel that I get that sensation.
Yes.
And I always
Correct.
adjust my
Adjust,
sleeping
support
position.
yourself. Yes.
And when I'm in the correct position, I also feel it. So I'm glad that I went through the hands of people who could teach me a few tips.
Yes.
And combining all those tips, I've managed to get back to almost a normal
Life.
life. My life is
I
normal.
was so worried. Yesterday is the first time that we took such a long walk.
Oh yes.
I was so worried because the first time we took a walk around the block, and when we came back, you were the pain on the hip, began, and you were feeling a bit of discomfort. But yesterday we took a longer walk, and I kept on asking, "Are you sure you want to go for a long walk?"
Yeah.
And we came back, and still there was no discomfort on the hip, no discomfort on the back.
And I felt really good.
I felt really good.
Yeah. And if I think back to the way I used to walk, I had to have somebody that I hold on to
yes.
all the time. So even when I was forcing to go to work,
yes,
my son would escort
accompany
me.
you, yes.
Yeah, and I would always be holding on to his shoulders. I couldn't, like, until since when? Since 2022. I could not drive. When I started feeling the problem, I would have to hold my leg to move from one pedal to the other. If it's a manual car, I would have to hold my
with the hand.
Yes, my right leg. To step on the accelerator and the brake pedal.
Imagine when you're moving on traffic and you have to keep doing that.
Yeah. And when the pain shifted to my left, with the manual car now, stepping on the clutch was very difficult. Yeah. So I had to use public transport for the longest of time. Yeah. And when my left foot lost control, I would not even feel where I'm stepping. So so it was very difficult. But now I can do a lot of things.
Praise God.
I can walk. I can wear shoes. I can sit, I can stand, I can wash dishes, I can cook.
And she's been washing a lot of dishes. You have to take her away from the sink for her to stop.
So taking her walk,
it
was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, and for someone who used to do a lot of mountain running, I was in avid runner.
It's exciting that you can actually get started.
I was happy.
Slowly but surely walking, and perhaps, as you heal, the Lord will enable you to do even more. Thank you so much, Angela, for sharing your story. I think by sitting now, I think I need to do this with everybody. I got to hear other insights to your story that I never was aware of before, and really quite interesting to know the journey that you have actually traveled. And we praise God for what He has done for you. And I just want to encourage those who are watching this video that the Lord is willing to do it even for you. There are many people who are struggling with really severe back pain, migraine headaches, pains in their knees, in their hips, on one side of the body, not on both sides, and they're thinking it's arthritis, but it could be the spine that slipped out of its position. It could be a sciatic nerve. It could be a spine that just needs to be adjusted or aligned. If you have any of these problems, please get in touch with us. We are more than willing to come and help you take your health to a higher level. God bless you. Maybe for the final words, just to say goodbye. I was now saying my farewells. Edit that one out.
Okay,
but
fine.
Perhaps maybe you have some final words to share, or just words of good farewell to the people.
Okay. So my final words are: as we grow older, our spine or our spines or our discs, they really degenerate because the spine is what really sustains the human body. So let's not ignore
The symptoms.
the symptoms. Yes, and also it's important to maintain a good posture when sleeping,
Yes.
sitting, bending.
And knowing which exercises to avoid as well.
Exactly. Yes. So don't take it for granted, because if you do, honestly, the next thing that will happen is that you will stop functioning completely.
That's true.
So this is just my word of advice. Don't take your spine for granted. Take care of your spine. And then the next thing is, for those that are not suffering,
Have more compassion.
have
I think I've
compassion.
learned that in us.
Yes, have compassion. I think there are a lot of situations where people suffering from chronic pain are misunderstood by those that are not suffering. Even when you ask for help, people will think you are exaggerating. If you ask, like I gave you an example of the bus drivers or the bus crew, I told them I wanted to lie on the floor. Some people did not understand, and they were like, but honestly, you know, but other people understood.
And I think I'm guilty of having a similar attitude from time to time when I don't understand. You remember I shared with you that sometimes God will give me a similar pain to what someone is experiencing, so that the next time I exercise more compassion.
Yes. Even with my employer, like you dress up nicely, you go to the office, you're looking okay,
but
your appetite is fine.
Yes.
Your appetite is fine. You're eating all right, you're talking, you're laughing, but you're struggling to sit, you're struggling to stand. Nobody understands the pain that you're feeling inside. You have chronic pain that cannot be seen by anybody. Unlike other illnesses where people can really see that your skin is pale, you're not eating, you don't have appetite, maybe you have the what do you call these, the sores.
Yes.
Then people can really see physically that you are not well.
Yes.
But with this kind of illness, the chronic pain, this kind of illness, people can't see it, so they will not understand what you're going through. So my word of encouragement to the caregivers and to anybody who's associating with someone with chronic pain, be it back pain, hip pain, whatever kind of chronic pain, be understanding. You can only understand when you go through it.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Angela. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for watching. And we will see you next time as we take your health to a higher level.